Hello and welcome to my channel. Now this is the finished painting we're aiming for today. The whole thing is driven by the light. Sharp contrasts, strong shapes and that burst of brightness running straight through the scene. I'm showing you this first because the structure is simple. Bold darks, clean lights and a clear value pattern that holds everything together. Once that's in place, the painting moves quickly. You'll see how the warm light cuts across the cooler shadow shapes, how a few decisive marks suggest depth, and how keeping the washes confident gives the whole thing energy. I'll take you through the timing, the edges, and how to keep the light dominant from the very first wash. It's direct, it's punchy, and it's a great way to strengthen your landscapes. So let's get into it. So I've wet the paper all over and I've let it dry just a little bit. Now, at this particular stage, it's all about timing really, when the paper's just right for dropping in the colours. You go for it. Normally what I do is I look across the side of the paper until the shine's gone off, and then go for that. This is all going to be very much wet into wet. I'm leaving that central part clear of any paint. That's going to be the shaft of light. Colour I'm using is cadmium yellow, and the brush I'm using is a 1-inch flat. This from series 222 from Rosemary and Co. The paper I'm using is Saunders Waterford, £200, not paper, and I've got the board tilted at a bit of an angle, not too much, probably about 10 degrees. Now while this is all still very wet, putting in some cobalt blue, and mixing some sap green with some of that yellow mix, some of that cadmium yellow mix, and just darkening it up with some raw umber. Just mixing up and playing about with it until I get the more or less the right shade that I want. All of this is going to dry much lighter. Not thinking about any of the shapes on the painting at the minute, other than the areas that I'd like to keep white. So I want these colours to blend. A lot of it's going to be covered at the latter stages of the painting anyway. This is just the colour that's behind. Lots of paper covered now. You can see how that shaft of light is getting brighter as the darker colours are put on. We start to look really effective and atmospheric. Oh, I've let that dry off now. Move to a mop brush now, using the size 2 red dot collection from Rosemary and Co. You can see how I use this palette. I dip into the existing colours there if I think it's going to help. And I'm going to be working 2 colours here, so I've laid the mop down on the palette using another brush now, which is a size 8 round brush from the Rosemary and Co designer series. The number of the series is 344 if you're interested in that. Want some cooler colours now. This is cobalt turquoise. You find with the cooler colours they tend to sink back, look in the distance compared to the warmer colours. Now I've got a outline drawing here that I've done. I use a 2B pencil for doing my outline drawings, and also I put quite a lot of detail in that I wouldn't necessarily do if it was just myself painting it for these outline drawings, because um, they are used in my patron site, and if you wanted to be part of that, you can download them they're in PDF format and A4, so you can print them off if you're not too sure about your drawing yet at this stage. It just makes it easier. You can just get on with the painting. A lot of these shapes I've done in advance, so you can see where roughly the outlines are. This is a very abstract form of painting. I mean, the main thing I would say is to make sure that you keep your gaps here, keep your openings. Just try and make some interesting shapes, and just remember that these are those conifer trees that you tend to have clumps of leaves, or clumps of pines, I think it is, here and there. And then they have the odd branch sticking out, all different sizes and different lengths. Keeping everything very simple, and just being mindful of where I'm putting these marks. I'm going to be wanting to put some of the darker marks near the light, the flash of light there in the central part of the painting. And I'm keeping these shapes and edges varied, so when your eye moves through the scene, it doesn't get stuck. Nothing attracts it. Watery cobalt turquoise mix on the left. This will all look a bit of a jumble for a while. This is really just the second wash is going on after that initial wash all over. Raw umber. Very strong, just straight out of the pan. Paints I'm using are mainly Winsor & Newton. There are a few from Jackson's own watercolour range. Cadmium yellow, sap green. Nice bright mix. Nice bright green. Yeah, I do like to use the ready mixed greens. It's something I've always done, and in this painting here with this large palette, I've got plenty of wells to put the colours, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. There are those that advocate just using the primaries and mixing from that, which is fine, but I'm quite happy to do my own thing. And if you paint for a while, you kind of know what you like, and you develop your own your own way of doing things, really, as I've done. And also your layout in your palette as well. that kind of grows, and you get to know what colours you like and what colours you don't like. But I do still swap colours every now and then over time. I mean, at the moment, I'm probably going to stop using Hooker's Green when my Hooker's Green runs out. I've used that for years, and I'm slowly more and more using sap green. And I do use cadmium yellow, cobalt blue, cadmium yellow, French ultramarine, or raw sienna, and the blues, and they make quite nice greens. I used to use Windsor blue, and that makes a very nice green with cadmium yellow. And I stopped using that and just kept my blues down to the four that I use now, really: the French ultramarine, cobalt blue, cerulean blue, and cobalt turquoise. If you want to know what the colours on the palette are from the bottom left, that's sepia, Payne's grey, French ultramarine, cobalt blue, cerulean blue, cobalt turquoise, neutral tint up to the top left corner, and that's light red, raw umber, burnt sienna, raw sienna, quinacridone gold at the top, and Hooker's Green in that top right corner. Then coming down, there's sap green, cadmium yellow, alizarin crimson, opera pink, cadmium red, Champollion, and lavender. And I do quite often put a squirt of, I say a squirt, yeah, it is a squirt of white on the bottom part of the palette, Chinese white, which I also use as well. Another thing that's personal choice. I mean, I quite like mixing that with sap green. You get a green that you can't really make up with just using other colours, and I quite like that sometimes for doing grasses, very light colour grasses. Just using the outline drawing for the shapes of the grasses in this now. Darkening things up. You'll see how I'm working this. So started with the lighter colours and now darkening it up. Haven't done any trunks yet, branches. I'm just doing the groups of leaves first, and then I'll bring those in later. Main thing we do in these type of paintings is just have some fun and just enjoy the shapes, the mark making. You'll be surprised how good the painting will be at the end when you finish. Not at this stage. And I always put a painting away for a few days and then come back to it once I've completed it and have a look. But look at it with fresh eyes, and then I can see any bits I want to change. Or sometimes if I leave it for a few weeks, go there and it looks like somebody else's painting, and yeah, all the marks that you think aren't right kind of are right. I think it's just in your memory when you finish the painting that you've done these marks, and they don't look quite abstract, or they don't look right, and that changes after a while. Now the colour I'm using for these trunks now is Payne's grey and some cobalt turquoise. And I'm varying it. I'm doing the very much lighter green trunks where the shaft of light is, where that light would be making would be casting itself onto these trunks that are near the central part of the painting. and doing the thicker trunks nearer to the immediate foreground. Be bold, one stroke. Get these trunks in. We'll be doing them again. Darken them up. Don't want dead straight lines, just try and vary the edge as you go up as well. Broken edges. Still using the size 8 round for this. A good example of the using using warm and cool colours is the if you look at the burnt sienna on that path compared to the blues in the background, you can see how that, although it's all on the same piece of paper, that looks more forward than the blues are. Payne's grey and a little bit of neutral tint, doing these dark shadows coming across. Just using quite a largish brush for this, really. Not going for the rigger yet. And bringing these lines down. This is the colours I use mainly for my darks, is Payne's grey with neutral tint. Just looking for where I've pre-drawn some of these trunks as well. They do get a little bit lost when you put the washes on them, but you can still see them. I wanted to go with the marks that I've made there because I normally do a preliminary series of rough sketches before I do these paintings, and sometimes I'll do a mock painting as well, just to see if I get the elements are right before I actually do the doing the painting here. And so in this case, I know that I was quite happy with the arrangement of the trunks here. Tried to vary the width of them as well, not having any two the same really. Just a small area of interest there with the burnt sienna flash of colour there. Now I mixed a very, very watery mixture of burnt sienna and raw sienna. There's a lot of water in this. I don't want this to, I want this to be very, very translucent. This is the beauty of watercolour that you can't do with other mediums really, is get that lovely translucent quality. You see through the paint. And that's the appearance of some tracks or something going into the distance, slightly going straight and then slightly to the left. Now I've used my Payne's grey and neutral tint mix and going up these trunks again. You can see they're not dead straight, doing that purposely. Trying to keep these attractive lines going. Just letting them be a bit more faded as they go into the distance, especially near that light there. Trying to just keep the brush moving away with purpose, so this painting keeps its energy. Don't want anything to look too forced or that's not been done with great energy. And still keeping these edges varied. Cadmium yellow, mostly cadmium yellow, just a touch of that green mix that's on the palette. Trying to get some lighter colours there where the bright light would be shining on them before it gets into the deeper woods. This part is mid-tones now. Done the lighter tones, putting in the mid-tones. Done the dark. Started on some of the darks with the trunks and the bases. Good type of painting to practice these ones. It's they look very, very nice when they're framed up, very atmospheric. With these sunrise type paintings. Now I'm using neutral tint and Payne's grey, and I'm going over my existing marks that I've done. I've only done a few, and I'm adding to them as I go where I think fit. And so you get a right varied assortment of branch lengths, branch shapes. You can see it's starting to really take shape now. Put these thin branches in. This is the fun part. Put quite a few in, but don't overdo it. And try to keep them all varied, all different sizes, different angles. So it's a good idea to use the outline drawing as a good guide to where to do the majority of them, and then just add some. Just looking around, seeing where these darks should go. Dark against light, light against dark. That's what makes the painting come to life. Pushing the brush around, pushing it, and just getting the abstract marks that it makes as I push it along. Quite a slow bit this is to watch. It's just me putting in these branches. Doing it quite fast, but thinking about what I'm doing as I go, and then letting the brush do its thing. For the very detailed work on this one, I'll be using a size 2 Rosemary & Co Eclipse rigger. And then putting in these darks, real darks, which would be in the centre of the cluster of leaves. See how affected those darks are on the central part at the top compared to the bright white paper there. It's a good idea when you're painting if you're going to be doing this painting to when you do your version is to compare the two by squinting your eyes, and then to see if the colours or see if the shades of colour are very similar, the contrast, or see if it needs some needs to be darkened up, because with a painting like this you need the different degrees of light, the bright light, which is the pure paper, and then the darks of neutral tint and Payne's grey. Just got the mop out now and just banging it on another brush, just tapping on some what's called spatter. Now if you're not confident with doing this, put some kitchen paper over the or paper, any paper, just cover up the areas that you don't want to be splashing. I mean, I'm just doing parts of the painting, not all over, just to make it look like lots of leaves, that kind of thing. Don't be trying to do that with a brush, be there all day. It's just a quick way of doing it, and it's all very random as well, and that's what these kind of paintings are about. Everything's very random. It's like nature. I've got a tube of white gouache out now, and using the small brush again. This is the using the size 8, and just reintroducing these lights that disappeared with when the washes were done. I could have tried to leave them at the start, but it would have been quite a long process. So I quite like to do this. Well, I'll put this gouache on now, and when that's drying, I'll reintroduce the darks again. So you've got these unbroken lines of shadow, which there would be, and just going around here and there, just popping in some flashes of white where it'll be reflecting the sunlight. Put some white on these trunks as well, where the light's hitting them. Don't want it to attract the eye too much, so I'm just smudging it in my finger here and there. But you could use a piece of tissue or something like that. So I've always been very much hands-on with watercolours. To get blurred edges, just use my thumb. And then I'll just reintroduce those darks again that I went over with the white gouache. These are the shadows of those trees going across the path. Add to the drama of the event. Just put my name on there. Now, if you'd like the full PDF pack for this painting, the colours, materials, reference and the finished image. It's available on my Patreon, which makes things very much easier. It's in A4, so you can print off the outline drawings, and it helps the site. It helps me produce these paintings for you. I mean, I've got quite a large series of paintings now, and I want to keep doing them for you, and it's hopefully it's helping you with your painting journey. And it'll certainly help me out if you join the my Patreon. And so there we are. That's the full process. There's strong value, clear light direction, and just a few decisive marks to finish it off. Just remove the masking tape, and I'll show you what the finished painting looks like with the mount on. You can see how attractive these look very nice framed. And there we go. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye for now.